Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be talking about 4 psychological triggers that will help you make more money with SAAS. I am the SAAS solopreneur. I appreciate everybody who's watching my brand new channel here on SAAS, and let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing is I want to talk about social proof. Most people use social proof incorrectly. Social proof is not just about some little pop-up in the corner of your screen, right? That's going to trigger people to buy. If I have a little pop-up in my SaaS that says so-and-so bought this or so-and-so signed up 5 minutes ago, that doesn't necessarily trigger people anymore. People are more like averting that kind of concept because those kind of social proof pop-ups, worked about 10 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago even, when people were less exposed to it. By now, everybody's kind of really involved in it. Everybody knows about it. People have been buying online for years, and they're exposed to it already. So you need something a little more creative. Instead, what you could do for social proof is all you have to do is maybe, like, let's say, pay somebody or give somebody a free account that they can use for a video, right? And you can record them, in that video, and you could post it on your website on the front page saying, other people love our software, you'll love our software too. And then just show a banner of the video. What that will do is that's legitimate social proof. Because remember, people are more essentially risk averse here in 2025 and beyond. They're used to and they've been exposed to every trick of the trade. So you're going to have to be authentic with your social proof if you really want it to work in the future. And as little as your social proof may be, use it. Okay? This comes down from a naturalistic behavioral point of view. If you guys have ever heard of the pecking order, you hear of that word all the time. Well, that's referred to chickens. What happens is, if you have a bunch of chickens in a chicken coop and you throw some food, there tends to be the alpha of the group in the chickens. And and it's not necessarily an alpha from a war perspective or a fighting perspective, but it's more of who is going to try this first. So what happens is certain chickens who are a little more docile, they'll sit back and they'll wait and see who's about to peck first at the food. Whoever pecks first is basically showing, okay, the coast is clear. I just tried eating this food, everything's fine. Then all of a sudden you have all the other chickens that peck next. Same thing within fish. If you have a school of fish and you drop a piece of meat into the ocean, what will happen is one fish will take the risk. Then what happens is another fish will take a risk by taking a bite. Then next thing you know, the whole entire school of fish is swarming the food, trying to eat as much as they possibly can. It's nothing more than social proof. The other animals are waiting to see what the animal's experience is going to be when they're attempting to eat that food. It's the same concept for us humans. When we want to buy a software, we need to see others doing the same thing as customers so that we can feel better and more safe about our decisions. Now, social proof needs to be more pronounced in niches where consumers have less money and they're more attached to their money. If you have, for example, markets of certain demographics that are lower on the income scale, they're typically more averse to paying you. That's just a simple fact of life, okay? And so people who you're attracting, depending on your niche, you have to understand their demographics. You have to understand where they're coming from, what countries they're from, how much discretionary funding they have to spend on your product. And depending on the price of your product and the price of your the location of your viewers, your future customers, you're going to have to alter your social proof to kind of accommodate that. The next thing I want to talk about is anchoring. Anchoring is purely being affected by that first impression. And what happens is people's first impressions are extremely powerful, and they tend to linger. They have this element of lingering. So let's say, for example, you create a SaaS software and you have a few customers that decide to take a risk on you and buy. They're maybe not sure, but they take a risk on you and buy. And let's say, for example, they have a terrible experience. Your app freezes up, it crashes, just terrible experience. Guess what? They'll probably never purchase anything from you ever again, even if you have the best product ever. Why? Because that first impression is just too strong in their minds. It's just too strong. They can't let it out of their head. Now you can take this concept of anchoring to pricing as well. Imagine I have 2 pricing tiers, okay? One pricing tier the first one, which is the cheaper one, is overall considered expensive in comparison to the second tier. So I'll give you an example. Imagine I'm selling a video editing software, and the first tier, like let's say we have two tiers. The first tier is $19.99, and the second one, right, is, let's say, $22 or $24. Let's say $24 just to make it even. One is $19.99, one is $24. Okay? Now, or actually, let's switch it up. Let's keep the numbers even. So $19.99 and $29.99. Okay? Two tiers. The $19.99, let's say, has two features. So it can edit videos and you can import audio, let's just say, right? But then you have the $29.99 feature, the $29.99 tier, that has 40 features, let's say, or 20 features, or even 10 features. The point is, it's dramatically better than the $19.99 version. So the person looks at the $19.99 and anchors. They say, okay, this is $19.99 with two features. This is what I'm getting. But then when I look over to the right-hand side and I see the new pricing of the new tier is going to be $30, so $10 more, but it has all these extra features. So what I'm doing is I'm basing the new pricing off of my past idea of what the product was, right? Which is the low amount of features for $19.99. That's a good way to anchor. And what happens is it typically affects people's decisions moving forward. That's one of the things about anchoring is that the first impression has an effect, sometimes positive, sometimes negative, depending on how you maneuver it, let's say, or you manipulate it. And so that's also an important thing. So the third trigger that I'm going to share with you guys is scarcity. So scarcity has been overused in the past, but you can use it in a way with SaaS that actually makes sense. So for example, in the SaaS world, if you have a SaaS product, right? And I can't tell you how many times I see this, but if you have a little scarcity tactic that says, after 10 more clients, we're not going to allow anybody else to sign up or something like that, or 10 spots left or 5 spots left. Everybody knows it's a lie. You're selling a digital product. You're not selling a physical product. There is no stock on a digital product. And we both know you're not going to limit it. So that doesn't work. So you can't keep doing these scarcity tactics like amateurs. You have to do it in a better way. So how do you do it? One of the ways that you can run a scarcity tactic is through pricing. So, for example, you can say, after 20 more customers, we will increase the price to so-and-so. Or on a certain date, we're going to increase the price to this. So, for example, our product is $20 right now. We're going to increase the price to $30 or $40, by this date. Now it's a real scarcity tactic. Now it's something that's actually going to really motivate somebody to move and be active on. But if you say, hey, we only have 4 spots left, nobody's believing you. And unfortunately, that hurts your trust. And trust is one of the most important factors for somebody to actually go in and pay you. I can't tell you how many people lack trust from small actions like that, and it really causes them not to gain the purchase. So I'll give you a fourth idea right now, which is loss aversion. Okay, so loss aversion ties into scarcity, and once again, I'll share more of these, in my lessons. I'll explain it in a minute. But loss aversion, what it really does, is it ties into scarcity because people have a natural fear of losing, and you have to realize that people have already felt like they have, once they gain access to something or aware of something, you have already opened the door for them that they cannot close. So, for example, if you have a SaaS product that has a certain claim about it, like let's say, this SaaS software will help you gain 1,500 plus more followers on Instagram per month. You've already promised something now. You've made a claim. In their mind, that's what this thing does. But you're going to have, people, when you expose them to scarcity, now, if scarcity truly works, they will experience loss aversion. And that's really what you want them to experience. You want them to feel like they're going to go without. So something you could say is, okay, with a powerful product like this, 1,500 plus followers a month on Instagram, you'll gain if you sign up to our product, right? What's something that's loss averting? Well, they could maybe lose their phenomenal price that they're paying for that. They could lose their opportunity for free consulting. They could lose their opportunity for whatever. So they have to feel like they're losing something in order for scarcity to work. And some people might say, "Oh, this is it's a messed up tactic. It's not a nice tactic. It's not, it's not kind, whatever." The truth is that human beings are animals at the end of the day. And we have certain types of instincts, certain types of thought processes that we cannot divert from even if we wanted to. That's the truth. And if you truly understand how human beings behave, you will have such a good outcome in your SaaS life. Because building SaaS is not just about building great products, it's about getting phenomenal results and really achieving financial freedom. The reason why I created this YouTube channel, SaaS Solopreneur, is to help people like me and you get financial freedom through software as a service. You develop your app, you build all the features, and then you walk away from the app while it's generating you income, the same way I generated over $89,000 from one SaaS app that I shared. Okay, and you guys could see that video if you want. I have a website, I call it controloutcomes.com. I want to share it with you real quick. And real quick, I have a mini course that I've created that you can access more of these psychological triggers and other information. If you click the link in the description, or you could just go to controloutcomes.com, I'll have this link to the mini course. I call it The Magic of Marketing, where I teach people how to understand truly how to market properly. And it's not just about, posting your product on a Y Combinator forum and begging people to join. It's not like that. If you want to gain true success the same way I have gained financial freedom through SaaS, you're going to need certain puzzle pieces that you're going to have to implement to really complete the project, okay, to really pass the goal line. So I created a mini course for people who feel like they're struggling in this world. Maybe they created a SaaS, but they just struggle to get customers. This is going to help you how to handle your visitors, your traffic visitors. Once again, this mini course is designed to help you handle your visitors, because the reality is you have two problems when you build a SaaS. The first problem is you have to figure out how to get customers. The second problem, how to get visitors, how to get traffic. The second problem is how do you convert traffic into customers? That's the second problem. And so that's what this mini course is responsible for. It's $29. You can go ahead and join. So hopefully this video helps. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Peace out. Bye.